Epoch reader poll, Trump within the law on tariffs. A U.S. appeals court on August 29 ruled that most of President Donald Trump's tariffs exceed his authority under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The court struck down both the broad global tariffs, a key part of Trump's second-term agenda, and specific tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada enacted in response to fentanyl trafficking and illegal immigration. On September 3, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court for an expedited review of this ruling, describing it as one of the most important cases to be decided. We asked readers to weigh in on the appellate court's decision, the value of tariffs, and the limits of presidential power. Strong support for Trump's view. Respondents overwhelmingly supported the president's view that his use of tariffs does not exceed his authority and his decision to appeal the appellate court's ruling. Of the 22,045 who participated in the survey, 88% opposed the appeals court's finding that Trump's use of emergency powers for tariffs exceeded his authority under IEEPA. Of those, 79% strongly opposed the finding. 10% of readers favored the court's view. The appeals court ruling stated that Congress did not explicitly include the power to impose tariffs, duties, or the like, or the power to tax in the law. If Congress will not move in this area, then Trump needs to move, one reader wrote. Another said, all presidents being able to do this probably isn't a good thing because I do not trust all presidents. An even higher number, 93%, supported Trump's decision to appeal, with 91% strongly supporting it. Only 5% of respondents opposed the decision to appeal the ruling. Regarding fentanyl-related tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada, 89% of respondents opposed the court's finding that those tariffs were illegal. One reader called the court's judgment a politically motivated decision not intended to benefit the general condition of the United States. Support for reciprocal and targeted tariffs. One part of Trump's tariff strategy has been to impose tariffs on other countries at the same rate they impose tariffs and other levies or restrictions on U.S. goods, broadly based on a trade deficit calculation. Readers appear to like the idea, with 74% supporting the idea that Congress should enshrine such reciprocal tariffs into law. Just 9% of participants opposed the idea, but 17% were neutral on the idea. One reader stated, "The world uses tariffs against the United States, and the president needs the ability to act quickly and unilaterally concerning trade tariffs." Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent suggested on September 2 that Trump could invoke a section of the Tariff Act of 1930 that authorizes the president to impose new tariffs of up to 50% on foreign products for a period of 5 months if they threaten domestic commerce. More than two-thirds of poll respondents supported the idea of using existing law to impose targeted tariffs. Limits of power. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution grants Congress the power to collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, and to regulate commerce with foreign nations. Some 12% of poll respondents supported the view that Trump's tariffs undermine the constitutional role of Congress in setting trade policy. About 80% saw no threat to the separation of powers in Trump's actions. I believe that if Congress objects to anything the president does, they should act, a reader said. However, opinions were divided on whether the appellate court's ruling sets an important precedent for limiting presidential power. Some 30% of respondents felt strongly that the ruling does set an important precedent, and 30% said it does not. 10% of respondents each somewhat supported and somewhat opposed that idea. 11% were neutral. Some readers suggested greater cooperation between the president and Congress on tariff matters. Allow the president 12 to 24-month tariff control, but force Congress to take up measures within 90 days to either confirm, appeal, or reject these tariffs, one reader said. Another said, the president should have the power to make these decisions, but Congress needs to codify them. The appeals court ruling does not take effect until October 14th, allowing some time for the appeal. As one reader put it, we'll wait and see.